Welcome to the AI Ireland podcast, your window into the world of AI innovation on the island of Ireland. Join us as we explore how AI is harnessed to tackle both business and societal challenges, revealing the cutting-edge solutions emerging from this vibrant AI community. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates and insights in the world of AI. Hello everyone, you're listening to the AI Ireland podcast. I hope you're doing really well wherever you are in the world today. And we're really happy to have Mahak Jhamb, AI Digital Leader for Europe at MMB at Mercer Dublin. Mahak, thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks, Mark, for having me. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your role as, I suppose, driving AI and business transformation together, because I'm guessing, if you think back a few years ago, this type of role wouldn't have necessarily existed.
Yeah, and when I joined Mercer, actually, this is an evolution of a role that I was hired for. So my role was very different when I was hired, and now it's evolved into this AI and innovation leader. The idea behind this role is that we try and I think the major part of this is education and learning. So we want to go out and reach out to different business areas, make them aware about AI, and then we also now find opportunities with different business areas in terms of the impactful opportunities actually, and we try to find if those are relevant opportunities and then create solutions to solve those opportunities. Or and we are very much focused, we have always been focused on personal productivity. In last 1.5 years we focus very much on personal productivity efficiency gains, but as the industry landscape changes, we want to start focusing on this game-changing AI, strategically impacting AI. So that's our strategy going forward, actually. But the role is very new, very different. I'm also adopting it, and it's all about being agile. So again, there's no set of rules or no clear definition of the role, but the major part is education, learning, and doing workshops with the business. Ideation sessions take a lot of my time in the week, and then product owner role, basically finding opportunities and then building those.
Yeah, and I can imagine the cheese is always kind of moving within that. Can you share some of the impactful solutions that you're seeing on the ground that are maybe making a difference to people's work every day?
Yeah, so what we have done within MMC is that we have an equivalent version of ChatGPT, which is very much focused on personal productivity. We are very much focused to keep our data secured, and so that's why we wanted to build our own version which stays within Mercer. The data is not used for training and stuff. So that is one part of it, which is very much focused on personal productivity, help you write emails, summarize documents for you, help you prepare for meetings, etc. Then there's other part of it where we identify different opportunities or use cases, and we solve those specific problems using AI, which some of the feedback that we've got from the business is that, they were taking X amount of days and now it's 1/4, or, but the challenge with it comes with its own challenges. The technology is very new, and it's very expensive technology as well, if I may add. So we are using the basic versions of the technology, but then in the sense then there's a very rigorous review process required. We're still setting up the risk framework around these products, etc. So there is definitely impact, but we're still in the process of realizing those impact. But the feedback has been great. For now, we're very much focused on personal productivity. Till now, we've been very much focused on personal productivity. The reason being, we want to build that trust with AI. Currently, a lot of people been in the industry for long don't trust AI that it's good enough to do the job that they've been doing. And we're saying you don't have to expect that from AI. You just have to expect it's going to do a first draft for you, and that review process still has to happen, and then you still might have to go in and update the content.
Yeah, that's really good. So I think, so you're kind of saying, okay, well, we're going to build on top of a technology, in this case, ChatGPT. We're going to kind of ring fence it around understanding our own data, make sure we're happy with what gets accessed, what gets used, and then you're kind of conscious that you have to build that trust with everyone in the business who's going to utilize it and engage it. For a lot of people, they can underestimate that the data still has to be fit for purpose and perfect to use, rather than you can't just put in sloppy data and expect the AI to clean it up, polish it off, and then suddenly people can make better insights. And that's a bit of a kind of a lead balloon for a lot of people as well. I can imagine where they're just thinking, just can I just throw AI at it? If you were to watch LinkedIn every day, you would
Yeah,
think that you could just turn this up and everybody is a
yeah,
superstar. So as you rightly said, cost is a really, really big factor. Although it's gone down probably 100 times in the last 12 months or so,
yeah,
it's still considerable. And also you've got the concern of, well, once you open it up to the masses, you don't know how many tokens are going to be generated or
yeah.
used, and suddenly it could be extremely popular, which could actually be massively impactful for your
Expensive.
CFO's
Mm.
bottom line. So how do you pick the ones that are most strategically important for the business, while also trying to stay away from the wouldn't it be cool snare projects that are the most fun in some ways?
Yeah, for us, the impact is, as you rightly said, the technology is expensive, and it's not very straightforward. Like it still takes, it's not rocket science that you just like. It's not like lift and shift, right? It's more like you have to go and develop the tool as well in the background. Takes time and effort to do that. So for us, impact is very important, right? So we categorize impact in terms of like whether it's creating a completely new revenue stream for us, or is it like just creating an efficiency impact, and then we like quantify that impact. And if this impact doesn't have to be like with the dollars, etc., it could be as simple as that it helps me in my day-to-day job, so but like it helps me save 20% of my time, and now I can focus that time on bringing in more value to the client. I can spend that time in researching about the client needs, and then like more efficient in answering to the client needs. So it doesn't have to be a dollar impact. We want people to do their job more efficiently, and that's what it is about. So even if they can prove that it's going to save them like, let's say, 10-20% time, but that time can then be utilized for more productive work, that's enough for us. So the point is that right now it's such an initial stage. The focus for us is to make people comfortable with the technology, and then also in parallel maybe have impact does form part of it, but it's not the only parameter that helps us drive it.
Yeah, because I can imagine within consulting, having access to all the key information that's up to date is very, very important, because your colleagues are all going to be working on different customer sites, different issues, solving different problems, challenges. So having that access to that information that other people can learn from, that's accessible, is so important for the employee experience, just to multiplies out their ability to do the job, but also the customer experience becomes so much better, because you're able to stand on the shoulders of giants and say, well, we actually solved this problem here. We've got access to that information, and then be able to provide it, which is really, really, really brilliant application.
Yeah, so I think I've worked in so many like consulting companies. I've worked as a consultant. The challenge with a lot of consulting companies, or any company for the matter of fact, is like the information is very fragmented. In the sense, you might have like some documents in your own personal drive. I might have it on my own personal drive. All of that information is not available at one place, right? That has been a challenge with any company I've worked so far. I've rarely seen any companies which are very organized in that space, especially if they're big companies. And so I think for us, the focus also now, what AI has helped with is also creating that reviewed content and placing that all in like one SharePoint location or one accessible location, where not only can it be like used by AI, but it's available for everyone to use. But we are very much, as you said, like focused on that content has to be very high value, has to be reviewed. So it's also helped us to organize our own like systems, and have helped us to reorganize the way the work is being done. I think going forward, you will see a massive change in the redefinition of roles as well, that we call, like which means that within the same company, let's say earlier, if you were looking for a certain skills for an intern that you're going to hire, now that job description would change, because you're looking for some additional skills that person should have be more capable in reviewing the content and content creation. So like, and I believe this will have another impact, which is like, what are the schools going to teach in what is the learning curriculum will be for the next generation. That is something we'll see a cascade. It's not going to be tomorrow, but there will be a cascading impact, I believe.
So getting departments to work together is challenging in its, on your best day,
Yeah.
particularly if you're working on different customer sites, life is happening. Cross collaboration across different types of departments, then you're even stretching it further. What kind of advice or insights have you got on that?
I think a lot of people say, like, that you need to get the people on the ground, like accepting the AI. I also think it is very important for the executives to be very enthusiastic about the technology as well, to create that change. So I think for us, the for we are being lucky in the sense that all our executives are on the same page, and that message is coming from the top that you have to start using this technology and you have to participate. So that's one aspect of it. It's being driven from the top, right? And then I think even within the other benefit that has worked in everyone's favor is that the type of marketing this technology has got, like last 1.5 years, people are very eager to learn about this technology. People are very eager to be part of that team. That's because people, like a lot of our colleagues, are aware of the fact that if they don't change with the technology, they're going to be like lagging behind, right? So people want to be part of it, and then and that push from the top has been really helpful. But I think a lot of our once you start building that trust with the technology, people start to come together and they want to make that change. But again, it's not very straightforward. We're still figuring out the ways, how to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of employees now, where maybe a few years back with different technology advancements, are coming with their hands being dirty with the technology because the AI tech has been sent to customers first, or sorry, employees first rather than enterprise. So people will be using ChatGPT themselves. They
Yes,
might be using Canva. They've got different types of project
exactly.
initiatives that they use. They're speaking to on their voice agent. So in that way, they can see that actually there's a benefit here to doing my job better, doing it remotely, giving a customer experience that's less friction. So they kind of demand it as well to say, well, actually, oh, we expect this to happen because other people are utilizing it in a different way. When you think about the future of consulting, where information is going to become probably less important in some ways because we're going to have access to so much insights, information at the top of our fingerprints. Where do you kind of see the consultant hat moving to, or how do you see that organization pivoting, or how do you see it playing out?
I think data will become very important. Like we were doing a workshop last few days, and then this came up, like just the same point that you're bringing up. Like information will be like available massively, right? But I think that's where, like, if you have data, those organizations that have some data, that will become very important, right? Like I and you can generate generic insight and generic consulting, information. But then those organizations that will have access to the data, real data, and then that can, like, play around with some numbers, that would become very key, because people want to hear what other organizations, where do I stand? Like benchmarking is like something, for example, if I'm in the industry, I'd like to understand where I stand with my peers, right? So I think that type of benchmarking and that data part would become really important going forward. Generic consulting and generic insights would be available just normally. Like you can go on ChatGPT and ask all the
Yeah,
questions.
I think it's so important because when you actually start to benchmark yourself against your peers and then you benchmark yourself against other organizations, you can get a bit of a wake up call where you're like, oh, I thought this standard was okay. Look at what they're actually achieving. And
Yeah.
that is incredibly powerful. It's just it's hard to articulate it until you actually experience it,
Yeah,
and you walk around and see
yeah,
it firsthand,
yeah,
and that's where the reality of how teams are communicating, how much more efficiency driven they are, the bar starts to raise in terms of outcomes, expectations. What previously took 4 hours takes now maybe 90 minutes. So finishing on time, not checking your work over the weekend, these things start to take root to actually go, you know what, that is what it's like to run a more efficient business or have a more of an outcome based um, approach. So sharing examples and insights like that is very, very helpful.
yeah. And also, man, just as you're talking, I'm thinking like I think there would be different type of skills needed from a consulting perspective as well. The skill won't be how you can get the information. It will be about like you have massive information, how you can extract the relevant information. That would be the skill that will be required, right? Like you have so much information around you. What is the information that will be useful to answering client problem statement, right? So I think that would be the skill that might be required. Earlier, it was more about how much information you have. And now it'll be like you don't need to have that information. You just need to pick up the right solution to the problem. I believe that would be the skill that's becoming will become important. And to your point, the evolution of technology. I think what the pace that we're seeing is like so different that we've seen in last 200 like under 200 years. What people are saying, what I've heard is that again, the LinkedIn and other sources is that the technology evolution in last 100 years has been less than what it has seen in last 2 years, right? So we will see that pace because we are now accessing that. Anyone, you and I could write a code, right? You and I can start developing applications because it's now so accessible. The pace of development and the pace of evolution will be so fast in next coming years, and it's important to keep yourself up to date. At least I feel if I lose, like, don't read LinkedIn or some AI newsletters, etc., I feel I've lost so much momentum. Like even missing a week feels like that. I think you're on the same like boat as I am.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe even 48 hours, particularly the last couple of weeks. It's just
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah. You've been listening to the AI Ireland podcast. I'm your host, Mark Kelly, and today we've been speaking with Mahak Jhamb, AI Digital Leader for Europe MMB at Mercer Dublin. Mahak, thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
thank you. Thanks, Mark. I'm glad I was here. Thank you.
Membership of AI Ireland places your organisation at the centre of the fastest growing technology sector in the world today. As a member, you'll have access to our diverse and highly engaged professional community, which is committed to driving artificial intelligence forward in Ireland. Membership of AI Ireland is for any organisation employing data and analytics. We offer memberships to corporate, government and SME organisations. Interested to find out more? Contact Mark at aiawards.ie.